All right, y'all. Welcome back to What in the State of Washington. This is the podcast where we make Washington state politics make a little bit more sense. I'm your host, Anya Robertson, recording right here at Voice Tacoma Radio Universal. So last episode, I had the honor of sitting down with the Dr. Marcia Tater-Runga, Dean of the Evergreen State College, Tacoma. We talked about sacredness of civic participation and how voting, like learning, it's a lifelong practice rooted in care and connection. So today, we're going to go local. We're going to talk about who's on the ballot right here in Tacoma and why these local races matter more than most people realize. Joining me is someone whose work embodies the spirit of peace, hope, and service, Kwabi Amoah, humanitarian and the founder of the Peace Bus. Kwabi, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Anya. This is cool. This is cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. So for folks who might not know your work, can you share a bit about yourself and what inspired the Peace Bus and how your mission connects to civic engagement and community care?
Yeah. So if you ask anyone on the street what they want out of life, typically they'll tell you peace, and it's in the top 3 things typically. So my idea was, how do I take this concept that everyone is concerned about, everyone wants, and blow it up as big as possible, right? And so that's how it started, this idea of campaigning for peace. So while I was campaigning for peace, talking to people in Tacoma and Seattle and Portland and all these places, I went off to Europe too, asking what does peace mean to people. I thought, if I'm going to talk about peace so much, I might as well put it into action. And that's when I decided to do humanitarian aid. And so I have this vehicle called the Peace Bus. It's this bright blue bus. So, if you're in Tacoma, you've probably seen it already.
Period.
Right? Yeah. And I thought, well, it's a cool vehicle. Why not distribute goods to people in need on the street with the vehicle? So, I mean, since 2019, I was doing that. And now the Peace Bus is kind of, it kind of stays at home. It's an old vehicle, 1988 Mitsubishi van. So it kind of stays at home now. But as of now, I'm a full-time humanitarian. I help people in need. I travel around the world. I travel here locally in Washington State. And the whole goal for myself is to raise awareness on how we can help each other and help people that are in need, those living on the street, those who are hungry, need clothing, and advocate for those who are homeless.
Kwabi.
Yeah.
Can you tell the listeners about the All Youth Can Eat campaign that you did that ensured that young people all across Tacoma have food during the summer months?
Yeah, and it's an amazing thing. At this point, it's not just Tacoma. It's the largest restaurant-led hunger campaign in the Northwest. And so on every single day of the week in the summer, between July 1st and September 1st, there's at least one restaurant that youth can receive a free meal, and college students. So basically Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all the way throughout the week, there's one restaurant, at least one. We got like 3 on some days, where any youth in the greater Tacoma area or Seattle or now in Denver, Colorado.
Denver.
I flew out to Denver and pitched the whole campaign out there. So cool. They can go to the restaurant and be like, hey, I'd love to order from your all you can eat menu, and they can get a meal for free. And it's really cool because it's destigmatizing. Food banks are great. Food banks are great. I'm nothing against food banks.
Food banks are great.
But to go to a restaurant that a youth may not have the means towards going to, and they get to sit down and roll their shoulders back and have a waiter or waitress come and give them their food, it's humanizing. The more we can humanize each other, the more we can build a more peaceful world. I really believe so. Yeah.
That's
and so this last summer we fed 7,500 youth. Yeah, in the one summer.
That's so awesome. Like 7,500 youth ate. And these restaurants were happy to do it.
Yeah, they're incredible. I don't know if it's just
and like good food.
Yeah,
it's like food where you're like, wait, what are we doing?
People should check out Grand. They're a brand new restaurant, 6th Avenue. Make phenomenal food. And they participated with the All You Can Eat campaign. They didn't even skip a beat.
And they're new.
Yeah, they're brand new.
They're a new restaurant. Come on, Grand.
Yeah. So it's a testament that we have the power and the means in the private sector in order to address hunger. So I'm imagining what else we can do as a community in order to bridge the gap of disparity.
Can I ask you to talk to the listeners about one more thing?
Okay.
About your humanitarian flight campaign?
Yeah, so this summer...
He's a pilot, by the way.
This summer I became a pilot. And so I'm going to be flying a humanity flight next month, flying from Tacoma to Olympia to raise awareness of homelessness in the greater Tacoma area, but mainly the Puget Sound, so Seattle, Tacoma, and Olympia. And I'm hoping to raise $30,000. That's the goal. But even if I don't make that amount, I'm going to fly from Tacoma to Olympia, and then I'm going to host a humanities summit. And at the state capitol building on November 14th, I'm bringing leaders, influencers, as well as people experiencing homelessness in the community to have a conversation to sort of raise awareness of homelessness, but to create a plan. We're going to get together and roll our sleeves up and really write something down, put something in writing, and collectively come up with what we're really going to do in order to address homelessness in Puget Sound. Now, I know that this conversation's ongoing. It's been had. It's continuing to be had. But I think there's something special about getting people from each side of the corner together, people who would never really mix and mingle, to really reach our highest potential in addressing the issues. So that's the goal.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
You're doing dope things.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're outside. Love that. You know, I really love that because that's exactly what local politics is, right? People taking small, intentional actions that ripple out into real change. Now, in the 2025 general election, Tacoma voters are going to make choices about leadership across our city, from the mayor's office to city council seats, the school board, and commissions that guide parks, fire services, and the Port of Tacoma. These are the people making decisions about housing, jobs, safety, and how our city grows. It's really easy to focus on national elections, but your local ballot is where your vote has the most direct power. Kwabi, you travel across the state talking to people about peace and belonging. When you think about leadership in a city like Tacoma, what kind of qualities do you think we need in the folks we elect?
Right. So, well, I think it's simple in a way, right? So we create the atmosphere for change. The people create the atmosphere for change, and the politicians follow our lead. That's the way it's supposed to be. So I believe that in any election, in any politician that's running for office, that those who are more aligned with what the people's needs are, that's who I want to see in power. That's who I want to see making the changes that we need. But that can only happen if we lead, right? So whatever issues are happening in our city, I want to put it on the people. What are you doing specifically in order to change things? And once you figure that out, then you'll be able to look at the ballot, look at whoever's running and be like, well, I'm already doing this. This person's going to only accent the work that we're already doing as a community.
I love that. Like, that person that you select should embody what the mass of the greater number of community needs and desires and is asking for. And it's something that they seem like they might provide, right? Yes. Or they seem like they might help bring to fruition, bring it together to make it happen for the people. Right? I love that. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Okay, so let's start with the top of the ticket, Tacoma's mayor. The mayor serves as the public face of the city, setting the tone for how we address challenges and how we show up for one another. So, Kwabi, when you think about the mayor's role, how can leadership grounded in peace and compassion translate into effective policy? And we've already talked about what policy is. Right.
Well, again, I just want to reiterate the fact that I feel the best mayor will be one that's really adhering to the needs of the people and is sort of involved directly. I want to see my mayor in spaces that I'm at to make sure that, it doesn't seem like a hierarchical thing, right? That really the mayor is a direct reflection of the people that live in our city. And I feel like that's the best mayor that we could have. A part of that, again, is us taking it upon ourselves to try to figure out how we can better the community and working in tandem with the mayor to do so. We shouldn't be enemies. We should be together, working together.
Absolutely.
Now, I feel like a negative aspect that we could see that you need to watch out for anyone who's running for office are they connected with the people? Are they in discordance with the issues that we need to address? But if that's not the case, I think we have a win-win situation. We need to be all working together for the collective good.
And I love you just said collective. Like, that's really what it's about. It's like, is this the best decision for our city in my mind, right? With what I know, with what my values are, with how I feel. Feelings are important. With what I think, thought is important. And with what I can see with my eyes and hear with my ears and what have you. And if you feel alignment with that, then hey, that might be your vote, right?
Right.
It's all good. You get to choose. It's your decision. But yeah, sometimes it's hard. It's like so they seem all right. They seem all right. Well, right? Like, and so sometimes it's like, well, think about it a little bit more. You know, you can also look folks up, right? Look them up online. These things can be done, and then just make a decision. Yeah. I love that. Thank you. All right, so next up are the city council races, districts 1 through 5, and 2 at-large seats. These council members shape budgets, pass local laws, and represent their neighborhood's needs. Kwabi, another question. You spent so much time in conversation with people about what makes them feel safe and connected. If you could sit down with a city council candidate, what's one question you want to ask them about their vision for Tacoma?
Yeah, I'd be curious to know what their idea of safety is, right? So when we think of safety, often we think of guard dogs and alarm systems, walls, policing, militarization. But to me, that's only Band-Aid safety. That's only getting us so far. It's limited. If we want real intrinsic safety, we're going to have to look at the quality of life for our citizens, right? So the council that's aligned with adhering to the needs of the people again, the quality of life, to me, that's real safety, right? So we're looking at people having their essential needs met, being employed, right? Having the tools necessary to reach our potentiality as a city. To me, that's more safer than if we were to have more police, more militarization. So that's where I align myself with.
And I love that you continue to reiterate, like, if they're in alignment with the people,
right?
If they're in alignment with community, if we see in a candidate what we hope to see in the future of our cities, right? Then that's where that alignment goes. And so, and I really appreciate that, because this podcast is really designed to support community and individuals who are like, I don't see myself in this. Right? Like, I don't do what? Vote what? Who?
Right.
Why?
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I think this is a great opportunity it's just reiterating, like, no, yes, your voice counts. So long as you wield it.
It's a part of the piece, As a citizen, you have an obligation to give back to your community. That's one part. You're obligated to participate in addressing policy through your voting. So yes, that voting is one part. It's a very important part, but also being active in the community is a huge part as well.
And it helps you know what community at large needs too.
Yes.
And not just us as individuals. We know what we need. We might know what some of our family members, maybe a neighbor or two might need, but in general, to know what the full depths and complexity of a city needs. Like, you gotta be outside sometimes.
Gotta be outside.
If you can, come outside, right? Just go outside. Thank you for that. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna talk about is the Tacoma School Board. These are the folks deciding on school funding, programs, and how our education system supports every student. And then next, there's the Metro Parks Tacoma, shaping how we care for our public spaces, which is our parks, trails, and various gathering spots. Kwabi, how do you see the education and community systems like schools and parks playing a role in a more peaceful city?
Yeah, well, the better that we can address education, the healthier we will be as a community. In my mind, I don't see how we can have separate schools in one city where kids are less educated than one school, right? So you have multiple schools and there's different levels of education when the solutions we need as a world are embedded in any child anywhere. So to me, when I look at the education system, we need to make sure that we are investing, whatever monies that are out there, that we're investing in education first and foremost. That's how we're going to promote not only a reduction in crime, right? There's a correlation between education and crime, but also just the health and the well-being of our kids in our society. So it's a no-brainer for me.
Sure.
Quality education for all youth.
Absolutely. And just one little note, you are also an alumni of the Evergreen State College as well.
I am. Yeah.
And what year did you graduate?
2015.
2015.
Yeah.
Very good.
Is it, I should know this. Enter to learn, depart to serve.
Hey,
Yeah.
Dr. Rogan said that, yes. Enter to learn, depart to serve. Absolutely. That's awesome. All right, the next thing is the Port of Tacoma. Now, that might not sound exciting to everyone, but it really is huge for the city. The port influences jobs, trade, and the environment. And these decisions ripple through working families, small businesses, and our future climate. So, Kwabi, when you think about peace on an economic level, what does it mean for a city to prioritize its people's livelihood while protecting planet?
Yeah, it's a complicated situation.
Yeah.
You know, the last work of Martin Luther King was the Poor People's Campaign. And his whole ideology was making sure that people had a livable wage, had employment and housing. Now, I'd love to live in a community where everyone had those needs met. I see the port as a way of utilizing the sense of giving employment to people that need it the most, right? At the same time, we're battling with the environmental justice, right? I don't really know the proper marriage there, how we're going to adhere to the environment as well as employment. But I do know that if we create opportunity for as many people as possible, the person with the idea to transcend us and bring us further along is out there. And maybe if they have their essential needs met, they'll be able to help us out.
I love that. You basically just said, make sure folks are employed and living good lives, and you'll find the talent needed to figure out this
Correct. We can't do it alone.
long problem that keeps on going.
Yes. Yeah.
Hire people, make opportunity for jobs, employment, and being able to provide themselves with a better life, to even have the ability to say, how must we solve this very complicated situation?
Exactly.
Absolutely. I love that. And you're such a humanitarian. I mean, you know that.
Yeah.
But like, you are. You know what I mean? Like, even when you're just like, you're a jolly guy, you know what I mean? So, like, you exude it.
Well, I have food and I have a home to go to. So really looking at things from a perspective of gratitude. I mean, how down can I stay on myself or my situation when there are people literally that don't have clothing? And you'll drive up, sometimes I give out socks to people on the street and they're smiling. Like, what? It's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, you're always so happy. I dig it. Okay, so here's my challenge to Tacoma voters. 1, grab your voters pamphlet. I have mine right here. And go straight to the various Tacoma sections, right? Read through each of the races. Talk to somebody. Talk to your neighbors, your friends, your family, your dog, your cat, your kids. And just talk about the city you want to live in. And if you can, just vote early. All right, now, Kwabi, before we close, what message would you like to share with people listening who might be feeling disconnected from politics or wondering if their single vote even matters?
Yeah, well, your vote definitely does matter. Take that step towards making change in the community and let that be the first step. Then once you're conscious of what's going on, have that be the vantage point in which you go about voting and to do it. Because there are lots of places around the world where your voice would be stifled. But here, where we live in the city of Tacoma, your vote can actually transcend and change our community for the better.
Absolutely. Just put in a little time, revisit some of the videos if necessary. You can always reach out to us. We'll make, or myself and What in the State of Washington, and we'll make sure that we respond back if you have any questions or thoughts or anything like that, or you're stuck on something. We're really going to talk to you about, what do you feel? What do you think? What do you know? What do you want to see, right? And those are going to be the type of support that we provide. So thank you again for joining. Is there anything Anything else you would like to say?
Yeah, choose love, right? That person you haven't talked to on the phone for years that helped you through a hard time, call them up today. Tell them how much you appreciate them.
Thank you so much, Kwabi.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you. All right, Kwabi, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for showing through your life and work that peace isn't just a feeling, it's a daily practice of action and care. And to all the listeners, remember, this is your city, your future, and your voice. Voting is your chance to say what kind of Tacoma you want to live in, or whatever city it is you live. Okay, so in our next episode, we're diving deeper into what happens after the votes are counted, how policy is shaped, implemented, and held accountable. I'm Anya Robertson, and this is What in the State of Washington, recorded at Voice Tacoma, Radio Universal, where community always comes first.